So structure, structure, structure. For a while now, we've been hearing that word. But let's talk about structure in political parlance in Nigeria. What does this mean? And I want to call it different things actually, but let's for today call it organized, please permit my writing, organized power. This is the system, this word, or this is the system that delivers the votes. So for the sake of today, we're going to, or I've categorized this word, structure, in Nigerian politics into 5 categories. So first, so that you can understand it very well, we have grassroots. You can understand it properly. We have grassroots, and I would want to say this is the foundation. Then 2, we have party systems. I'm calling this our vehicle. Please permit my writing, yeah? The third one I would want to say is people networks. Let's call this mobilization. The fourth one, let's say influence. Power blocks. Let's call this leverage. Please permit my writing. And then the 5th one, resources. And I would want to call this the fuel. So for every time you hear structure, especially in politics in Nigeria, your mind should come to these 5 things. I already said structure is organized power. It is the system that delivers the votes. So grassroots, let's start with number 1. Grassroots, this is where you have the polling units, the wards. Let me say we have over 176,000 polling units in Nigeria. If you don't have people there, you don't have structure. Let's come to the party system. So that's where you have your political parties, the states, the local governments, the wards, the booths. To win an election, you must win at the party level, right? Structure lives inside the party. So you must first win your party to win an election. And structure resides inside the party. Now let's talk about people networks. This is where you have the community influencers, you have your market leaders, you have your youth leaders, you have all those groups. And what they do, they mobilize the real votes and the majority of the votes. And we can all agree that those votes are largely not on social media. Then we have the influence and power blocks or power blocks. So here we have like religious organizations or religious institutions. The power blocks, you may not want to agree with it, but there you have like the godfathers. These people bring access. So, you know, the influence, the religious institutions like I have mentioned, they shape beliefs, they shape perception. One word from a religious institution that is followed or that has large following can change a lot of things. That's why we see our leaders always finding themselves in religious houses. And then of course the power blocks, the godfathers, the people that have access to funding, settle internal party issues, make party decisions basically. They're there. We can't take them out, at least not for today. They are still there. Maybe tomorrow we'll take them out, but they are still there and they form a major part of the structure as it relates to politics in Nigeria. Then we have resources, fuel. Here we have money, movement, logistics, and the like. And structure needs funding to move people, to organize, to sustain presence. So every time this word comes to your mind, many of you are tempted to think that it is just violence. And I can't blame you because, some things have happened. But structure is not violence. Structure is preparation, organization, and presence. Think of all these things every time you are tempted to say there is structure or there is no structure. This is what makes it, or these are some of the things, the major things that make up structure. Now let me say this. I said it yesterday and I'm saying it again today. You can be loved, very much loved, and still lose. But if you have structure, you will always compete. We already know that the elections are not won on social media. They are won at the polling units. And that is where structure shows up. Have a good evening.